Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Screen Chronicles. I'm Steve. With me, as always, is Colby. Gryphon?
Close.
Close. We'll get it eventually. But today, we're talking about Episode 5 of Season 2 of
Chapter
The
13.
Chapter 13, The Jedi. And we're going to keep this spoiler-free, so that might mean anything. All right? So...
yeah, we're going to try.
we're going to start out spoiler-free, rather. We're going to start out, it's usually like a couple minutes, and then it's going to be all spoiler talk. So we're just going to give you our thoughts on the episode, and then we'll dive into it. If you watched our other ones, you know how it's done. Colby, what did you think about this episode?
Freaking amazing. I don't remember the last time I've been quite this excited about an episode. I mean, Mandalorian's been fantastic all the way through, but this one was a whole nother level. And we'll talk about why, I mean, in a little bit.
Yeah, I without giving anything away, I don't think there was a lot of spectacle in this, in the sense that big, huge crate dragons were coming through and some giant spiders. There wasn't that kind of spectacle, but it was just all about character and atmosphere and cinematography and tone. It was really fun. We've talked about how the other ones, typically Mandalorian kind of feels a little bit more of like a Western. Mm-hmm. And I would say that, like the first episode of the season was straight on Western. This one, you could say it was Western. It definitely had Western feel to it. I felt like it was like an old fashioned samurai movie, though, which, it's inspired spaghetti Westerns, though. I mean, a lot of Westerns were remade from old samurai movies. So it kind of felt Western samurai. It was perfect balance. Dave Filoni wrote and directed it.
But it also, to me, sort of felt like it could have been a live action episode from the Clone Wars or something.
Yeah.
And for a very obvious reason, we'll get to, but not just that, the character reason, but also the feel of it. Something about the feel of it made me feel like, this is like that Clone Wars Rebels style episode, but also sometimes felt like a horror movie.
It definitely did. And there was just a lot of nonverbal stuff in the episode too. I thought that was really well done, and
it really hit my like young kid Star Wars fan like heartstrings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
we get some really good Mando points in this. I really enjoyed that. I really thought, we were pretty sure we were going to get a certain character in this, and I thought that might overshadow Mando's story, or Din Djarin and the child. I thought their stuff was like easily the best part of it too. Maybe not easily the best part, but definitely a huge big part, and I don't think it was overshadowed by the other character. So yeah, I mean,
we got to talk about it. Let's get that spoiler.
Do you think this was your favorite one though of the season? I'm hearing a lot of people are saying this is their favorite one.
Yeah,
I
think so.
I would still probably rank the first one like just a notch higher from this season, and but this one was like right there, right on the notch with it.
I think it's just because it's connection to the movies and the Clone Wars show and even and Rebels too.
So let's just get into
it. Let's just get into it.
Spoiler alert, people.
Spoiler alert, because it starts right away now. If you had told me that we were just going to see Ahsoka Tano right at the beginning of the show, I would have kind of been like, oh, that's kind of a disappointing start. Mm-hmm. I kind of want her to have a really dramatic entrance. But it was flipping amazing.
Yeah.
It starts with these guys looking over a wall and this planet, all these burnt down trees. There's like a city,
greenish, smoky, like atmosphere, nighttime.
A lot of smoke, and you just get you see the shooting blasters in the distance, right? And you're like, what's going on? And you see these guys running back toward the city, and then you get the white lightsabers just come out of nowhere, and Ahsoka is just slaying it.
Yeah, just Ahsoka. I mean, you see her right at the beginning. I thought we were going to maybe see her in the middle or towards
Yeah.
the end. I didn't think we were going to get it right off the bat.
Yeah, I thought like we were going to follow Mando and he was going to still be looking for her and it was going to be like a really dramatic kind of entrance. But no, we get it like right off the bat. We get her.
Yeah, and she's just there was a great part where she like kills a guy but like strikes through a tree too as she's doing it. That was sick. And then
that whole sequence though, like she uses the Force to snap a twig, gets them to look, and then she like turns and she slices through the tree with both lightsabers. And this is what I think. She thinks ahead. She's always like 2 steps ahead because she later like uses like that chunk of the tree she like chopped out and throws it at a dude.
Yeah, Force
using
pushes
the Force. Force pushes at him. And I was like, you know, she's thinking ahead when she cut through that tree earlier. Like she it's pretty awesome.
She was like measuring the distance, be like, all right, how am I gonna like how big is it gonna be? So when I throw it, it like it kills them, you know?
Right.
And that was fun too, is because Clone Wars back because it was on Cartoon Network. Lightsabers killed people, but in Rebels, especially, like it was only like cutting off the ends of guns, you know, because it was on Disney and
geared towards kids, I guess.
It felt like that one was more geared towards kids, yeah. And
still recommend it though if you're a big Star Wars fan.
I would still, and I think you kind of have to at least check out a summary of it or something just to understand, because there's a lot of big things that happen in this that I had to explain to my girlfriend or my mom when we were watching this. Like, oh, this is who she is, and this is what like she's asking about here at the end. And that, I mean, that's honestly probably why I rank this one a little lower than the first one. I love the tone, and as a fan who's followed all this stuff, I enjoyed it, but I still felt like it still had to rely on you knowing Rebels, Clone Wars, you know, that all this stuff to really like appreciate the moments that she had.
Fair enough, because I think there's a good portion of people who watch The Mandalorian that have not seen those.
Yeah, some of them haven't even seen the original saga, the original trilogy or the prequels.
People I know are starting with The Mandalorian now that it's on Disney Plus. You can stream it. Oh, you can stream all of the movies now, but there's just such a buzz around Mandalorian, and I think that almost anybody could like The Mandalorian. I think there's a section of people who might not like Star Wars, might not like the sci-fi aspect, but something about The Mandalorian is a different feel. I don't know what it is.
I think it's a big part of it is one, Baby Yoda. I mean,
well, the cuteness factor. We can't call him Baby Yoda anymore, can we?
We can't. And that's another thing we learned. His name is Grogu.
Grogu. What did you think of? We'll get to the part of the episode, but when Ahsoka comes and tells Mando that he has a name, his name's Grogu. What was your thought of the name Grogu?
I said, this is just going to screw up memes. This is going to screw up the internet.
This ruins the memes. I mean, my girlfriend got me this cup saying Yoda best boyfriend with Baby Yoda on it. Now, like, what is it? Grogu best boyfriend? Grogu
best boyfriend.
Well, but what did you think of the name? Because I'll be honest, I wasn't digging it at first. When she first said it, I was like, Grogu.
That sounds more like a previous, like 2 generations ago, sort of like Yoda race, kind of like how like Esther, you know, you're like, oh, that's more of like someone who's like born in the 40s. Like Grogu to me is like
totally
like a Yoda,
like Eugene,
exactly Eugene.
You know.
It's a few generations older. You know, I was expecting something like blue, you know, or south. You know, something really abstract for him.
Totally.
But no, I was kind of like, at first I did. I honestly
think it's like, because the words like grow sounds like gross.
It does,
goo
right?
is a gross thing. Goo. But I'll be honest, it's kind of growing on me.
It growed on you?
It Grogu'd on me. We'll be fine with the memes. Clearly.
We can still call him Baby Yoda. If we call him Baby Yoda from here on, just relax. We know his name's Grogu, okay?
Okay.
But
it's gonna be a hard transition for us.
But while we're talking about it, though, I thought it was really funny when she first said it to Mando. She's like, his name's Grogu. And Mando was like, Grogu. And then Baby Yoda's like, hey, you talking to me?
What?
Like looked up and like, hey, you talking to me?
Talking to me?
And then he's like,
he says, yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, are you? Yeah, I think he asked like, have you been talking to him or something? And she's like, vague answer, yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, Grogu. And he's like, yeah, what do you want?
What do you want? It's the second time you've said my name.
That's my name, yeah. Like, duh. I thought it was cute and funny, but like it didn't feel like any of that weird forced humor. Like it didn't feel like a Thor Ragnarok or that kind of weird humor put in. Like it was funny and it just felt natural. There's a smoker in Colby's room.
That was my dragon.
It's dragon. Just a dragon in there,
it's
just
an air
sitting out
freshener,
the corner.
People. Right?
It's a dragon.
It's a dragon. It's really a dragon, though.
He's off the patch. He's off the patch, back on the flames. But backing it way up, it was really cool. She kills all these dudes, and I thought even the dudes that were like hunting her down were really cool. They just seemed really like scary, and it felt all like Star Wars. It just felt so Star Wars, but still like
unique,
newish,
still new,
unique. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like
they had this like giant gong,
like is
bell
their alarm
thing, their alarm that some guy with a giant hammer was just banging on it, and it, man,
again, it made me feel like it was like a samurai movie with this sort of like
that gave it a samurai
feel. Yeah.
The other thing that gave a samurai vibe, and going back to this sequence with Ahsoka just chopping these dudes down, right? First of all, we got to mention how she comes through the first chop and she kind of comes into focus. She's got that like backwards grip on the lightsaber where she like holds it backwards, right?
Yeah.
The backhand grip, I should say.
Yeah,
the backhand grip on the lightsaber, which is
from her.
Just classic Ahsoka, right?
You don't want to catch her backhand, that's for sure.
Which is awesome, right? I mean, you don't want to catch her backhand, and these guys caught her backhand. But what was amazing about it is we mentioned this, a smoky planet. She was like going total stealth mode by like turning her lightsabers off. By the way, her classic white lightsabers, they look great. And when she turned them off, like she disappeared in the smoke. How cool was this?
That was pretty cool.
And like she'd show up somewhere else. And you could kind of see her shadow move for a second, but then it'd be gone. Mm-hmm. And it just was so samurai-ish.
Yeah.
You know?
And just the cinematography for this full episode and like was just so great. I mean, that was probably my favorite like cinematography version of so far from the whole show. I really like the feel when we're on Navarro or Tatooine and things like that. But I felt like this one was probably like the coolest like looking place, and it just like every frame looked like you could probably really like paint it on a canvas.
Totally.
But yeah, she's zipping in and out, and then they're up on the wall.
There's
like a magistrate is who we find out it is.
Mm-hmm.
And this other guy, a mercenary, and they've got some droids too. And, Ahsoka just comes up looking all badass with her lightsabers on. And how cool are the lightsabers too? Just the hum and the feel this episode, they felt that's one thing I really liked about the sequel trilogies, like lightsabers, when you heard them, you saw them, like they just felt like they were like dangerous, vibrating energy things, you know?
They were amazing.
I thought in this episode, I was just like, man, they've got a lightsaber like down pat.
They nailed that.
And it looks like it might be something that she's really holding too. Like it might be like a light up blade.
It could be. Yeah. I mean,
I don't think it's like a hacksmith lightsaber, but in the behind the scenes, you see that the dark saber, it's a real, like it's a light up saber, so she might be holding like a real lightsaber. And I think that maybe it might just help with the lighting too.
Yeah, that's man, it was phenomenal. And what I was going to say was, in that sequence, there's like a couple shots where like she shows up behind a dude, right? Using her stealth mode. But then there's a really quick shot where the camera moves towards one of the guys and he can't see her. And he moves kind of quickly, the camera. And it's Ahsoka's vision, right? Mm-hmm. And I think they were trying to show force speed. I think.
Oh yeah.
To me, it felt like they were trying to show like her get to this guy really fast without him being able to see her. Maybe they were just going stealth, but if they were going force speed, I kind of wish they went a little bit faster. You know what I mean? It felt fast, like they were going rushing in at the guy, but it wasn't like. I think it would have been really cool if it was just like, and done. Because I would think that's something we haven't seen a ton of in Star Wars is force speed. You see it in the games a lot, and
you saw it in Phantom Menace too.
Phantom Menace, real quick.
When the droidicas come, they just go like
super quick. So, force speed is something like that. I think is awesome. So if that's what they were going for there, then I wish they might have gone a little faster. But
I think they did a pretty good job of showing her Jedi abilities too, like her physical stuff, like jumping and stuff.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get more into that.
We'll get to that. But anyway,
she talks though to the magistrate in this woman who's in charge, and I can't remember the name of the actress, but she is the daughter of the guy who trained with Bruce Lee, and she's been in a lot of movies too with stunts and stuff like that. Which also kind of lent itself to this, the samurai sort of old martial arts movies kind of feel that this episode had.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, you tell me who you're working for, kind of thing. And she's like, we're going to kill you, is what the magistrate replies with.
Yeah.
And also her right-hand man, the guy, I think his name is Lang, the character's name. But the actor who played him was actually in Terminator. He was in Alien and Tombstone. I just started watching Tombstone. I haven't seen it in a while today, too.
Oh, so good.
He's one of the bad guys in that, too. So, again, here's this guy who has like this sci-fi Western background that was the Western aspect, I think, of this episode, like the counterpart for Mando. And then meanwhile, you have the martial art, samurai warrior sort of end of it too, with the magistrate. Totally.
And the magistrate is Morgan Elsbeth is her name, and she's played by Diana Lee Inosanto. Nope, cool. Sorry, Diana Lee Inosanto.
I don't know how to say it. She probably can't say Kushik though, so you know it's fine.
But yeah.
So we know then that this town, she's like, hey, like people are already suffering under you. They say, we're gonna torture people until you come in and surrender. She's like, people already hate it there. It's already nasty. Look at it. You can't see anything. It's a terrible place here, And she's like, yeah, it could get worse. But Ahsoka leaves. She's like, I don't know that guy. And she goes, and eventually though, Mando shows up. We know he was looking for Ahsoka. He's coming to Corvus. He lands and he goes into town. The guy lets him in because he's like, oh, you're a member of the guild.
Right.
And so he goes in town, and you can tell that this force that's occupying it, they're not good people. It's kind of reminiscent of like the first episode when Mando rolls into that town in Navarro where the Empire is ruling it over, and everyone just kind of real shady people. It's only like criminals.
Right. And people, I mean, again, the magistrate had threatened to kill them when she was talking to Ahsoka, and Ahsoka threatened her, like, you better let these people go,
Let my people go.
But yeah, there's people in cages. He walks by. He tries to talk to one of the townspeople, and the guy is like, "Don't talk to us. You're gonna get us in trouble." And
I see these people, some of the people she was like threatening that the previous night. They're like in these electric cage things. They have to stand in them.
They look horrible.
Yeah, like how do you sit down? Like, can I take a break from my torture and just sit down, please?
Yeah, please.
At least widen the bottom. Like,
yeah.
That
reminds me of Norseman in like the first episode when like the prisoner on the Viking ship is complaining.
Yep.
Anyway, so the magistrate wants to see Mando now. And she has like another separate like fortress inside the city.
Yeah. And again, this gives you like samurai vibes. She's got like this like koi pond, and it's very calm and serene in there.
what's interesting is that this planet is all burnt. All these trees are burnt, and inside this little box fortress that she has like luscious green, and like it just kind of shows, that she's kind of done to this planet.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, she talks to Mando, and she's like, "Oh, you're Mandalorian. That's cool. Will you kill this person for me?" And Mando is looking for Ahsoka Tano, so she pretty much tells Mando like who to kill, and it's like the person Mando's looking for. So he's like, "Okay, perfect. Like this is lining up for me."
He's like, "Yeah, but where is she?"
Yeah, sure, I'll kill her. Where is she at? But he does like do his, what's in it for me? And this,
yeah, he's like, I'm expensive.
Yeah.
I'm expensive. And he never says like, I'll do it. He just says,
Right.
I'm expensive. And then she tells him like where to look,
Yeah.
but he never straight up says, though, I agree.
Exactly.
Or I disagree.
Exactly.
He's just like, where is she?
But what she does do is she's like, I'll give you this spear. Which Mando so this spear just looks like a metal, like silver spear, right?
Yeah.
And you figure what it is.
Good fishing
Mando
spear.
like takes it. Yeah. Mando takes it and like bangs it against his armor, and it makes like a really kind of unique dinging sound.
Ding.
And he's like, this is Beskar. And she's like 100% Beskar steel. And Mando all of a sudden is like, man, I want that. But he doesn't.
He likes that Beskar.
He likes that Beskar. But he isn't. It's not like that's going to change what he does. But you can tell he kind of wants that spear.
Mm.
Who wouldn't, right? I kind of want that spear myself.
He's more of an armor guy. He's like,
Yeah.
You're wearing armor, Mando armor. You take that off. You give it to me right now. I don't care who you're protecting. You give me that.
He didn't have a problem that she had a spear. He wasn't like, put that down immediately.
He's like, that's not cultural appropriation. That's fine.
yeah, that's fine. Offers him the spear. He doesn't say yes, but he kind of like gives her the impression that he's going to do it.
Yeah, he leads her on just so he can figure out where it's at. So he's not bothered by anything.
By the way, Baby Yoda is in his satchel.
Yeah,
and Baby Yoda really wanted that little ball on his thing and used the Force to get it. Yeah, it's like Baby Yoda's realizing like that he can. Well, we learned something about Grogu here, but he's like using the Force now to get whatever he wants.
Yeah,
like
it's the
same
candy gear shifter
ball.
top that was from the first season that he took off. That when Mando like saw that it wasn't there, like it made him go back.
And it becomes important that they introduce that later on in the episode. So anyway, they focus on the little ball a little bit.
Force pulls it off and gets it.
And gets it just to play with it. He just likes the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shiny ball. And then Mando goes on his quest to try to find Ahsoka.
He's going through the woods and he sets down Baby Yoda. I think he hears a noise
By the way, though, before he gets there, there's like an owl in a tree.
Yeah.
So this goes back to Clone Wars?
I think it's Rebels.
Or is it Rebels?
Yeah, it's Rebels.
So it goes back to Rebels.
Owl there that's in the space between spaces, like the Force entity thing. That if you
represents like the light side of the Force, I believe.
Yeah,
she's like the daughter of. So she's the daughter of Mortis. So Mortis is the realm of the Force, and there's a father, daughter, and son. And she represents the light side, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think this is a Rebels thing, too. I remember when Ezra Bridger was at like this excavation site. I almost said evacuation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was honestly, I'd say the last season or so episodes of Rebels was pretty cool in how they used the Force and the things they did. So Ahsoka, she like we said, she's in this episode. If you've watched it, she goes to the magistrate at the end. She fights her and she gets Thrawn out of her.
Yeah.
Who is a big guy from the Rebels. He's the blue guy. He was very like.
That's kind of the big name drop this episode.
Yeah. He was a real thinker guy. And he never was like getting tricked by the Rebels. I think most of the time in shows and the movies of Star Wars, the Empire, even though they're this ominous, great government of the galaxy, the rebels are always still kind of beating them and making them look like chumps.
He didn't.
Not this guy.
No,
not this guy. This guy was always planning. If there was a mistake, it was always someone who under him who was effing it up. But it wasn't on him. So we know that's tying into Rebels. We know at the end of Rebels, he got sucked into like hyperspace with Ezra Bridger by these like flying tentacle monster-ish thingies.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're probably going to see Ezra Bridger. We know at the end of Rebels,
right?
Ahsoka was going to help look for Ezra with the other Mandalorian who was on his crew, Sabine, her name was. So I'm thinking, this is tying in Rebels. Is she going to get her own series? What? And then I think like I was saying, at the end of Rebels 2, there's this whole weird like thing in the Force where they go and they even like run into Palpatine. They're able to see him through different times. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking that's what we just talked about, the owl and all that. I think that's going to really come into play into her own series is what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking so.
I think they're going to answer Ezra Bridger. They might even help more with Palpatine or something and all that stuff. Because we know Palpatine, it's canon. He shows up again, even though I hate it. He shows up in Rise of Skywalker.
Let's not get into it.
Let's not get into it. But I think that's where it's going. I don't know if it'll be Ahsoka's show or if it'll be something equivalent to Rebel.
I'm cool with that kind of deep Rebels, even going into Legends a little bit. I'm cool with that. I'm excited as a Star Wars fan for that kind of stuff. So the fact that owl was there showing the daughter of Mortis, that's exciting. Moving on, though, where you're talking, sets Baby Yoda down, and Ahsoka, just pounces on him. She's just ready to kill anything that, walks and breathes.
I know she would have killed him. She would have just instantly killed him.
But remember, just another, Star Wars history is that the Mandalorians and the Jedi had a major conflict, the Battle of Mandalore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Beskar is the only thing, I guess, that can resist the lightsaber.
Yeah, I never knew that. From the games, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the Old Republic, things like that. I knew that there was that conflict between the Mandalorians and Jedi, and the tools that the Mandalorians developed were specifically designed to combat Jedi. That's why they have the rope gun and the flamethrower and armor and jetpacks.
And Beskar, I guess. And
I didn't know Beskar, but I mean, it makes sense though that you would need something to, because he would have died.
She just was on him and and he was like, hey, I'm a friend, man. Come on.
Wait, woman. Just wait.
Jesus.
Yikes.
Ooh.
Like when he was getting stabbed when he was in the grate.
Yeah.
Like when in the third episode under the water. He's like, ooh, ah.
He's just getting poked with sticks.
Oh, come on.
But anyway, she does, she stops and he's like, I just want to talk. And she's like, I bet it's about that little Yoda motherfucker over there. That little Yoda looking guy that's over there. I bet that's what you want to talk about, huh? Is that what you want to talk about? Because
it's and he's probably if you took 10 seconds to look and see that, you probably, wouldn't have tried to just kill me.
Yeah.
It was a sweet fight. I wish it would have went on a little bit longer, but it was really cool. We could see him use the flamethrower on her. He does tie her up, kind of like how Boba Fett tied up Luke in Return of the Jedi, but she just jumps over and hangs him up.
That was cool.
That was
really cool.
And it was really cool too. I'm just getting to see that Beskar works against lightsabers, because that's something I was wondering. I was like, can it hold up against the lightsaber? I wonder.
Makes it kind of puts everything together. Why is this Beskar so legendary?
Yeah. We know he's gonna fight Moff Gideon at some point. We just know it.
I just love that there's this element Beskar.
Yeah.
It's so valuable and rare, it just adds such a cool aspect to the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's sort of like
Mandalorians.
finding a lightsaber in the sequel trilogy was so cool.
Yeah.
You know, finding another Beskar item like the spear in this one was like cool. Like I like that. But yeah, so she wants to have a little powwow with Baby Yoda.
And then Baby Yoda at this point.
It's Baby Yoda. It's the child still. And she's just like around a campfire. Because, I mean, Mando explained to Ahsoka, like, you know, what's going on. And they're just kind of sitting around a campfire, not kind of talking. Like, Baby Yoda's, like, I think making some, like, ooh, goo goo gaga sounds like.
Yeah, Baby Yoda makes a lot of baby noises this season, but I think this episode he made, like, the most variety. I think the first season, the only sound was like the mama, that sound, like the doll sound, you know. Mm-hmm. But like he'd make some noises. He looked into it, you know. He was like turning his head like how dogs do, you know.
And Ahsoka just looks so. I mean, this is so like Jedi Force user. I know Ahsoka. People say that she's not a Jedi anymore, you know. And she's not really a Jedi. You know, I mean, so the name of the episode kind of comes into debate. You know, is Ahsoka technically a Jedi?
I don't know.
She renounced the Jedi Order.
Mm-hmm. Well, they kicked her out, and then she renounced it. Yeah,
right. And, but she's still a Force user.
Yeah, and then we find out though that, you know, she tells Mando, we get to hear like all of Baby Yoda's backstory. So we know he's not a clone, that he is just a child. We don't know whose child.
That.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either. I was not expecting that.
He was a child.
And he was actually in the Jedi temple being trained.
On Coruscant.
Because he's 50 years old. So I mean he's had masters come and go probably. You know what I mean? Like
so they say he was born around the same time as Anakin Skywalker.
That's what I heard. Yeah. Him and Anakin would have been the same age.
Right.
Which is pretty sweet too, because Anakin, you know, he was like a divine conception, but like the chosen one. He was born the same year as the chosen one, you know?
Yeah. But here's the thing, dude, is like Baby Yoda's 50 years old now and is still like this big. Like when he was like that, what was he, like a little tadpole swimming around? Like what was he? I don't know.
So I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
It makes some sense that like if you live to be in your like 900 or almost 1,000 years old, that you'd be a baby for longer, I guess. But like
absolutely
50 years old, like you have to be dumb for so long. You know?
How dumb is he though? Because now I question this.
How dumb is he?
He's been able to like he does communicate.
He's like,
Ahsoka, like you're right. Ahsoka just comes to Mando, is like, yeah, we just talked like for like an hour.
Force talked.
He just told me everything. Like what? How long you been with him? Like he just told me everything I need to know. Like no, but it was like she was very vague about how the communication happened. You know?
He's like, did you force talk to each other? And she's like, yeah, in a way.
In a way. It's like, okay.
Mind your business. You know?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
You wouldn't understand. And he probably wouldn't understand. Because remember, Mando does not understand Jedi. He doesn't really know what a Jedi is. He's very new to the Force. Baby Yoda was his first exposure to the Force. So he's still trying to figure out what all this is. And she just tells him like this awesome back history of she tells him his name, Grogu. And we just talked about like maybe every time Grogu said baby, I was like, what?
Yeah, that's my name. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my name. Which is a little bit hard for Mando to accept, I think. And yeah, it's just so cool to hear that he was there at Coruscant.
Yeah.
He survived the purge of the Jedi. How did he survive? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, we still don't have everything. We still don't know how he survived.
We don't know
whose parents are or what his race is yet.
Theory there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really going out on a limb here.
Go out.
Was that a sign not to say it? No.
Nope, that's a sign to say it.
Could this be the baby of Yoda and Yaddle.
I hope so.
Do you hope so? Because then it kind of takes away Yoda's like pureness to the Jedi code. But there is the Ki-Adi-Mundi clause.
Which is? I mean, I know it, but tell everyone else.
If you file a claim that your species is going extinct, and in direct order of that claim, you will be able to take on multiple wives to try to repopulate your species. I tried this. Didn't work.
Old lady didn't go by the old lady.
Yeah, I was at the DMV.
The DMV.
They're like, "Why are you at the DMV?" I don't know. No, I was at the county office building, and I was like, "Look, my people are
The Gryphons, man.
the Gryphons. We're going extinct."
The Griffins are killing us all.
No. But Ki-Adi-Mundi, because his species was going extinct, he was allowed by the Jedi Order to actually help repopulate the species. Man, sucks for Ki-Adi-Mundi.
What about the Wookiees, though?
What about the Wookiees? He didn't say what species is going extinct. No. So maybe the same thing, because there's not a lot of Yoda-looking creatures around.
This is the third one we've seen. We only saw Yaddle for like a little bit.
Yeah, Yaddle's real brief. Then there is like a pink one in Phantom Menace that you see like during the celebration that has like the same ears as Yoda. You remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the same species, but it looks kind of the same. But
I remember they were standing next to each other. I was like, "Hey,
yeah,
you kind of look the same, but a little different."
Just look like a different color. It's like a different color. Race wars on Yoda's planet probably happened.
It could have been.
It could have been the pink versus the green.
Pinks and greens.
But anyway, so maybe there was a clause. Maybe the Ki-Adi-Mundi clause applied to Yoda and Yaddle, and they were able to create little Grogu.
Little Grogu. Yoda sees it come out. He's like, "Oh, disgusting that is." And
or maybe like, it's
name. What do you want to call? And he's like, "Grogu."
Or maybe it's like Yoda's nephew or something that he just like invited to become a Jedi. I don't know. It could be a lot of things, but it looks exactly like Yoda. So there's a lot of questions about, is this Yoda's child somehow?
Yeah. And it was really cool too that she brings up she knew Yoda. Ahsoka does. Because that's one thing with Bo-Katan. She's like, I don't know what that thing is. Why don't you go talk to a Jedi?
Yeah.
I mean, I only knew Obi-Wan and Anakin and Ahsoka and probably knew of Yoda. If I don't know if I can't remember if she met him or not.
I just feel like if you were alive at that time, Yoda is like Derek Jeter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
like,
I saw one thing because I was wondering, like, why do people not know about the Jedi? Like, why are they surprised by the Force? But I did see this thing, and there's only like a few, maybe 100,000 or so Jedi, which you're like, oh, that's a lot. But there's like trillions of people in a galaxy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you might even hear about Jedi during these Clone Wars, but if you never see one in person, you might just think they're a myth or something. You know,
that's a good point.
You might think they're fake news.
Yeah, it's not like they're not on every star system, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like in a universe where you can travel to any star system, like there's some that are so remote, or there's even just maybe all of these events happen in a way smaller sector of the universe than we originally thought.
Yeah.
But either way, Mando also is kind of from a weird sect of Mandalore. Like he was raised by
like a subdivision of the
subdivision, you know, so could be something to that too for Mando personally. But anyway,
she does bring up Yoda though. She's like, oh, I only knew one other species, Yoda. And did you hear the music too? It sounded like a little bit like Yoda's like Force music when he was like lifting the X-wing or something. Like it kind of sounded like that. Like
the whole soundtrack this episode, by the way, props, really, really good.
Yeah.
But I agree. Yeah, that was very. My just inner Star Wars fan, like just just screaming inside. Anyway, so yeah, Mando's like, okay, you got to train him, you know, and everything. And so they start this little thing. She's like, well, let me see what he can do. Put him on a little rock. She like floats him the rock.
Now pass me the rock.
Yeah, now pass me the rock. Yeah, give me the rock. And Baby Yoda's being so Grogu, is being so stubborn. Like he don't want to do it. No way, weird lady.
And she explains that he's been hiding his powers because of the purge, and he's afraid to express it. And she even says there's a dark period in his memory that like he's repressed or she wasn't able to access or something like that.
I love this now because that makes me think of every time he's used the Force for like something so petty as a candy bar or the little ball thing. He's like in his head, he's like weighing like risk my life, you know, for the purge. Like some evil Sith Lord's going to sense my presence. Get those macaroons, those
blue cookies,
maybe
genocide.
Maybe genocide of my entire, of all Force beings. So I don't know.
Cookies. Silver thing on the stick. But I think it also just goes to show that he really respects and is comfortable with Din Djarin, you know, Mando.
Totally.
Because he saved him. He's used the Force with him a few times. He's choked Cara Dune for him. He's
Force chokes to Cara Dune.
He's picked up the Mudhorn.
So anyway, so she's like, okay, why don't you try this? So Mando tries, and it doesn't work until he takes out the little ball.
And again, I love this because you couldn't see Mando's face during this, and this is what I'm saying about the nonverbals. And two, when he was like going with Ahsoka, Mando even kind of looked at him like, pass it back to her. He didn't say anything. He just gave him like a nod, like,
yeah, come on,
like, go on, kid. It didn't work, but then he's
so
standing
fatherly.
there. Yeah, he is
so fatherly,
and he's standing there, and you can just see it. You can't see it in his face, but you can see it on him somehow. It's the cuts, it's the directing. I don't know how. It's the stillness of him. You just know in his head he's like, let me get out that thing that he's always stealing. That little thieving bastard. He'll grab that.
I feel like I'm not a parent, but like I feel like parents could probably relate to Baby Yoda in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like I imagine there's like things that little kids like get attached to, like weird objects that they really like, or I don't know, like a blanket they really like or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like,
it's just funny.
I'll give you your blanket if you can do it, or whatever.
But we'll use the ball. You'll do it with the ball.
Yeah. And he just sucks that thing out.
Like give me that ball right now. So what do we either work with that or blue macaroons?
Yeah, then he goes up to him after, and I really like that. I really love we get to see more of the relationship between Jin and Grogu in this. I mean, like he goes right up to him and he's like, yeah, and he's like proud of him.
Yes.
Like a dad, like proud of his son for like hitting a ball off the tee or something. You know what I mean?
It just warms your heart, dude.
It does. It warmed all of our hearts. But then Ahsoka's like, that shit ain't Jedi.
That shit ain't Jedi. That's a path to the dark side if I ever seen one. All right? Like, look, like, what do we know about Grogu now? He's living in fear, by suppressing his powers. What does fear lead to? Anger.
Anger leads
to
hate.
Hate leads to
suffering.
So, and the other thing is attachment. She can see just how attached Grogu is to Mando. I mean, that's Grogu's father, basically. I mean, it's a father figure. Grogu loves Mando, and it makes me want to cry and tears of joy. I just love it. It's great.
As us as the viewers, as people who aren't, in the Jedi faith, we're like, oh, that's awesome. But she's awesome. Like, that shit ain't Jedi.
That shit ain't Jedi.
And I knew a guy. Yeah. She's like, and I think I think it's around here. She says, I knew a Jedi Knight who was like awesome, like the best Jedi, and because he was attached to people, he ended up falling to the dark side. And she's obviously talking about Anakin Skywalker, which was so cool.
Awesome.
Again, is another fan thing that was really cool. I got it, but I had to explain it to people who hadn't seen the extended, shows and stuff. But I thought it was awesome, and I thought it was really cool because this is something I saw too later on. Is we did see in Rebels that she fought Darth Vader, and she ended up finding out that was Anakin. And if at the end of the Clone Wars she was starting to hear that Darth Maul's telling her like, hey, like your master, he's already gone to the dark side. Like there's no way like you're getting him back. Like it's not happened physically yet, but it's happened. Like it's Sidious's plan. It's happened. And so she's known that he was Darth Vader, and how upsetting that is for her. The bond between them. But I saw this too.
Go ahead.
Like, did she think he died? That was the monster? Because only Luke was there with Vader to see him give up his anger and hate, or at least to direct it for his son,
That is interesting.
To kill himself and the Emperor, eventually fulfilling the prophecy of killing all the Sith.
That is interesting.
Did she know that he turned? Did she think like in her head, is she still thinking like he died on the Death Star as an evil son of a bitch?
That's interesting. I would like to think a presence like Darth Vader and Anakin would, having that shift back to the light side, any super force sensitive being like Ahsoka would be able to tell something happened.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there would be a shift of such a dark presence finding the light.
Yeah.
Don't know if that would make her realize what happened. But
something, have like a hint at something.
To feel the balance of the Force, right? Because that brought balance to the Force.
But we also know Luke is out here in the universe too.
Right.
Like, will she ever run into him?
Oh my God!
Like,
I hope so.
Will she tell him about his parents? She knew Padme. She knew Anakin. Like, she could tell him. Like, he never met either of them.
I just got chills.
Yeah,
I just got chills from you.
I saw this somewhere else. So like, this is
but still, that's like,
yeah, and then he could tell her in turn, like, hey, like he gave up his evil ways and he killed the Emperor at the end to save me, his son.
I think that's part of why I love this episode so much, is it spawns a lot of theory. Like, there's even more that we're going to get to, but like theories like that. I hope so bad for something like that. I hope so bad.
And I'm hoping we see that in that Ahsoka show, whatever it is, if she's the lead or if she's just a part of a larger, cast. I hope that's something that's part of it. And
totally.
I mean, I don't know, but like that whole scene there, I was just like, man, we've got so many possibilities with this. And like,
so yeah, exactly. And basically Mando has to convince her, like, I need you to train him. I need you to. And he like agrees to help her take that town.
If she trains him.
And Ahsoka says, yeah, Ahsoka agrees.
Oh, they had such a sweet line or Mando did. She's like, all right, we'll take the town. He's like, and he says, a Jedi and a Mandalorian, they'll never see it coming. And I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's so cool. And then, okay, cut back to the town because they're going to take the town. And Ahsoka's like running up. They're like, hit the alarm, hit that giant gong bell we've got. Let everyone know. And you see Ahsoka running. They start shooting. And like there's a shot above the wall. You can see out the field. Ahsoka is running. She disappears because of the height of the wall. And next thing you know, she just like did like a leap. I loved this, dude. That got me so pumped. Just a force leap up over the wall and slashes the dude. What'd you think of that shot?
That was sweet. Yeah. It was so awesome.
Cool. So cool.
I really loved all of her fights with the guys. I thought.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson
killed it. I mean, when she got cast for this, I was like, she kind of looks like she could be Ahsoka,
Yeah.
like the older version of Ahsoka.
Part of me still wishes they got the original voice actor from the Clone Wars and Rebels to do her, but I can see why, because
she doesn't really look like the character.
She doesn't look as much, and I think she's still a little bit younger too than Rosario. And I think she would be in her 40s or 50s. I think Ahsoka would be.
True.
At this point, I mean, I think her species might live longer. Someone has said so. Like she could still look younger. You know what I mean? But
I guess,
but she does.
But she looked older.
Her character
in Rebels.
she has like some gravitas in when you get to Rebels. Like, and this is after that, so it kind of makes sense. And I wish her horn things were a little bigger too, because they were bigger in Rebels, like the top parts. Like those keep to like growing longer as you age. It looks like.
Yeah, remember Shakti?
Yeah. Hers were huge.
Sure, huge. Yeah.
Like
and so
like you're like you're Shakti. Like I'm Ahsoka in this episode. You know, and
false. Like,
but so they looked a little shorter though than they did in Rebels, and this is after that though. So that's my one complaint with how she looks. Otherwise, though, I thought it was great though. I really liked how she looks with Rosario,
and she looked good fighting. Oh my god,
all of her scenes, they just like how they like the camera's nice and still, so you can see everything, and like the lighting on her face, and like the intensity that you see.
It's perfect.
It's really
what
cool.
We all wanted. And she goes up there, slashes a couple guys, takes a dude's gun, throws it at another guy, knocks him out, and then looks back at the guy whose gun, like just like slow look, and he just runs away.
Run away.
And then the bell guy comes up and tries to hit her with the bell
gong
thing. Yeah,
the gong hammer.
And she just slices through him and slices through the gong to let everyone know she's here.
That was a sweet shot, though. That was so sweet when she cut through that dude and the bell at the same time, and it just rolls off, and she's just standing there, all badass. That was so.
That was
sweet.
like, man, I have no like. That was just perfect. It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
And then she goes down and. She goes up to, and they have these two droids, which we hear too that they're HK-88s or something. And again, too, I mentioned I'm a KOTOR fan, so HK-47 was always the funny droid. So it was kind of cool to see that reference too. But she goes up to them, and that Lang guy, the main mercenary, and she throws out Jin's shoulder piece with the mud horn on it, like saying, nice try. I killed your bounty hunter.
Yeah,
like it's me. You know, don't worry about him. He's definitely not going to come in for a sneak attack, you know, after we separate you guys or anything.
Don't even think about him. He's definitely not coming.
Gone.
He's like, gone.
Last episode he's in.
Yeah. Why didn't you take the helmet to show us? Because he wouldn't let me have. I mean, no. So she throws the cool shoulder pad down. One with a sweet logo. I love that logo. And she just did such a cool slow walk up. Like they all got the guns on her. I'm kind of wondering in my head, like, why the heck aren't they shooting yet? But anyway, she goes up and finally, like, Magistrate is like, would you just shoot her for me, please? And the guy's like, I'd love to. And he just shoots and like it's just force jump onto the roof. Like perfect timing. Just deflecting on the roof. I was like, this is like comic book Star Wars action. Like it's amazing. Like that leap. That's such a cool samurai type leap she does. You know, and again, like Star Wars has always kind of been like that samurai, like the Jedi at least have always been that kind of like
definitely inspired by a
samurai.
You know, European knights and
yeah, so
it's pretty sweet. And I really liked Lang's blaster too. It was like a shotgun. It was like, and it would like scatter. I was like, that's sweet. That's
a pretty cool weapon. I like seeing little differences in the guns and stuff. It's cool. And
they go after her, then they break up, and then Mando jetpacks down in
because they're going to kill the slaves.
Yeah, they were going to,
or the prisoners.
The prisoners, yeah.
The prisoners. Yeah, and he jetpacks in and he kicks butt.
Yeah, he kills those dudes or the droids there who are about to shoot those guys. I think they were guys. And like before that though too, we saw that one guy who said like, hey, don't talk to me. to Mando earlier. The same guy, like as soon as they were like gonna go kill those prisoners, he starts to like rush out. Like he's probably gonna try and at least do something.
He was going to try to help them, knowing he was probably going to get killed, but he was
Yeah.
going to make an effort to help the prisoners. But Mando came in, so
Yeah,
pretty
so
cool
that was
on that
cool.
guy.
Yeah,
Pretty cool on that guy. But anyway, he helps Mando get these guys down, and then we get like the freaking horror scene with Ahsoka. Oh my god!
How sweet was that when
She's just like, yeah,
behind that one guy and like both of her lightsabers like ignited and she
oh
like
yeah.
did this thing. Like I
It's
don't know
like-
if she like had them together. Like were
No,
they, like,
it couldn't be
this?
right. Like it would one in front of the other, but then she would like chop her arm. So it had to be. Wow. I need to
was-
think about that.
But just like the lighting on her face and like she was like just standing there just like so sick.
I was like yelling. There's some shows I watch make me get up out of my chair. Some make me yell. This one I was yelling like, yeah, get him,
It
get
was
him.
sweet. It was
But
sweet.
like, she was like running down the streets and like you'd see her shadow go by. And I was just like, this is a scary movie. This is like, I don't know where she is. Like, I know
She was
I want
going
these
full
guys to get
Batman.
killed, but she was Batman. She was whatever. Like it was pretty amazing. And those droids were amazing too.
Yeah. She does get like cornered by Lang and you think she's just gonna kill him, but then the droids come after her, corner, and she like jumps, like she has to get away from the one, but she like jumps and like cuts through one, and then he's like, hey, go up onto the roof, and that one just like cartwheels up there.
Yeah, it was cool. That was really
But
cool.
then he goes out after her and he runs into Mando standing there and he's like, hey, like you ain't dead. And then Ahsoka's just standing on the like the ledge there.
That's like so Batman or
Yeah.
Uhtred or it's very samurai too. It's very cool.
Samurai, just in her
Very cool.
her cloak billowing in the wind, and she jumps down over the wall. So you know, then she's gonna fight the magistrate,
Mhm.
and now Mando's facing off in like a Western duel with Lang here, the mercenary guy, and it's cool because they have like a talk during this time, the two of them. Sort of like saying like, hey, we're similar guys. We both, we're mercenaries, worked for the guild.
I don't have anything against you personally. Like,
Yeah.
let's not
seem like
kill
a-
each other.
Besides, keeping people in electric cages and polluting a planet. Like, he seems like he might be a cool guy.
Like, yeah, go grab a drink with him or something,
Yeah.
right? Everybody's got some stories.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
He's got some stories.
But it was really cool. He tries to pull a fast one on Mando. Meanwhile, though, Ahsoka is down there and she squares off against the magistrate, and it's very samurai in how it feels, which is kind of inspired like Western duels too that we see in like spaghetti westerns, where it's sort of a showdown. It's slow. You do one thing, you break off again, and it was cool. I thought I have to say I was a little disappointed though with their fight. She has the Beskar spear.
True.
To me, I was really hoping to be like, all right, like her fighting so far has been sweet, killing these dudes. Like I'm
It's a
hoping for like,
challenge.
I'm hoping for like, we'll never get Duel of the Fates level of Darth Maul, but like I was kind of hoping for like something like we saw Filoni directed a live action version that was put into the Clone Wars. They used what are they called?
Ray Park.
Yeah, Ray Park is Darth Maul, but when you put the dots on you to motion capture, they use motion capture to actually capture a real fight, and that fight was sweet.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, we're gonna get a sweet fight here. And we've got this stunt woman, we've got Ahsoka who's been kicking ass the whole time. I thought it was a little underwhelming though. I mean, it was cool,
Yeah.
but like it looked kind of like lame.
You know what
at
I
some
thought
points.
though? Like when they were right before they started, I was like, "This is Mortal Kombat." When they're like on the bridge, did you have that thought? I thought like when they were across from each other, they're about to start fighting. They're in their pose, like we're about to get a Mortal Kombat like action.
I
Like
didn't
I
think
feel like
I
I'm in
could
an
see that, though.
arcade. You know?
Fight.
Yeah. But it was cool to see that spear in action.
Yeah.
And it
And
just
then-
made me think like I could picture how the battle might have gone down between the Jedi and the Mandalorians. You know what I mean? I could just picture those battles. Oh, so cool.
Yeah, and like I don't know, it looked a little wonky to me at sometimes, which is weird because I don't know if it was maybe on Rosario's Dawson end. Maybe she just didn't learn the fight or something before, and because there'd be some wide shots where it would look good. There was like, look chaotic, but then they would like getting close and it was just kind of like, I don't know, it looked a little wonky. And too, when she knocks away one of her lightsabers at one point, and just looked kind of wonky to me. I don't know, like,
a little bit.
Not as bad as like Cursed, but like,
yeah, no,
but like it's still just like a little wonky for like elite, especially compared to the rest of the show, and especially this episode. I was just like, what? And I was like, why don't you just force pull that thing back? It's just in a pond. It was right there,
Totally.
She ends up beating her though, and that's when she gets out. Admiral Thrawn. Who are you working for? And
yeah, because she had asked earlier when she'd walked into town, like, "Where's your master?"
Mm-hmm.
It kind of was like,
We don't hear the answer, but where everyone's like, "Ooh, Thrawn, ooh.
Thrawn," and we get Thrawn. She says it similar to how she was announced like 2 episodes before this.
Yeah,
Ahsoka Tano. It's kind of funny. Like, it is a big name drop, but it worked so far with Ahsoka. It was still really awesome when she showed up. But yeah, like, they have it out, and Ahsoka wins, and
we don't see her kill her, or if they capture her, or what they do with her.
A lot of people are wondering why they shouldn't just kill her.
I don't know. I mean, she would have killed Mando, no questions asked, who's carrying around a baby.
I mean, I get it first though, like she still needed answers out of her, but like, I don't know.
Maybe she killed her. Maybe that's why they didn't show it. They didn't want it to seem like it was like a Anakin Skywalker killing Dooku kind of kill. You know what I mean?
Or maybe something would happen, because Magistrate was kind of a cool character. By the way, I don't know if we talked about the backstory of how she got into like her power, but she like funded like the Empire's Navy, I guess, or like she helped create it.
And I think they said like she like was a victim of some kind during the Clone Wars too.
Yes, which gave her that kind of hatred.
Yeah.
So to join the Empire, so something we don't know exactly what happened, but somebody wronged her people.
Yeah, but she's original character though. She wasn't anyone from the Clone Wars or anything like that we've seen before. So she was cool. So I mean, they might bring her back for something else or Ahsoka's show. It seemed like there was some sort of history between the two of them though. Like even though we haven't seen anything.
Yeah, maybe the Ahsoka show will.
Yeah,
I hope they call it the Ahsoka show.
I don't. Yeah,
the Ahsoka show.
If
they do it,
and she's just sitting on a couch. My next guest today,
the Eric Andre show.
Just destroys your set at the beginning.
Yeah, General Thrawn. Hannibal Buress is just standing behind him, like that's totally whack, man.
But also too, we see, like I said, Lang tries to pull fast one on Mando. He's like, "I'm definitely setting down my gun and surrendering."
Oh yeah.
And Mando's like, "All right, sure, I'll let you think that." That I think that, and then he tries to pull pistol on Mando and just blasts him away.
Mando is like so far ahead of him, dude.
Yeah, it's like too. Even if you hit me, man, you get me in the Beskar, I'm still killing you.
I'm thinking about that. Like I'm standing there in Beskar armor. You know how confident I feel. You could duel anybody.
You could walk right up to you, like you could keep shooting him, walk right up to you, slap you in the face 10 times, and then. You're not doing anything to him, man.
Yeah. So anyway,
and we remember I was like, oh, but maybe that droid is gonna get him though, because we saw it go up on the roof and we didn't see it get killed. But then the guy who turns out, I guess he is the mayor of the town or the governor or whatever, I guess is what it turns out. He's like, hey, look out behind you, and Mando just easily kills that droid.
Kills him, yeah.
Nothing. Mando's like, I kill droids for fun, man. I hate those things.
Dude.
And then because that guy was standing closest to the door to the magistrate's office, he gets to be king of the city now, again. So
exactly the reason.
But I looked up and people were saying, well, he was the mayor of the governor. But we didn't know that before.
Yeah.
He was just
when I saw it, I was just
person.
like, oh, he was like their leader before this.
I was just like, what was he standing closest to the door? Like, did someone say, like, he was a cool guy, like he'll take over?
Dude, the way he charged out to save his people, even though they had no hope, he was their leader, dude. He was their leader. That told you everything you needed to know.
Yeah.
But anyway, at the end of the episode, Mando's like, all right, I guess it's time for me to go get Grogu and give him to you. And I'm just like thinking, I'm like getting really emotional.
Same.
About this. Like, I'm like, no.
Don't give him away, man. You can't. But I was like, I want him to. Like, especially because we've seen the darkness in him. But like I don't want the two of them to separate, you know? That's his kid.
I know, but I was also thinking, like, how awesome would it be, though? Like, I also don't want Baby Yoda out of the show either. Like, if Mando goes off on other adventures. So, anyway, he's like showing Baby Yoda's like happy he's coming back. He's in his little hammock, and Mando's like, all right, buddy, time to say goodbye. I need a minute. I paused it. I was like, I need a minute. I am not ready for this.
It was heartfelt, man. It was.
Oh, man.
He goes in there. He's sleeping in that little, like, tunnel that they sleep in. And yeah, he says, you know, get ready to say goodbye. And then you just see them. They're just sitting there for a while. The camera just sort of zooms out to show that they probably sat there for a while, you know.
Not ready to go.
And, like, again, you can't see Jin's face. You can't see Mando's face. But
you know he's crying.
You just know what he's feeling and thinking.
You know he's got the tears just streaming down, dude. Yeah. I would think. I mean, oh, man.
That's sweet.
The attachment has grown in the show so naturally, too. And just to think they're going to be separated. And he walks out, and Ahsoka's there. And she was like, psych! I ain't doing that. I ain't doing what I said. I have my fingers crossed the whole time. Oldest Jedi trick right here.
Mando's like, this is not the way, you know.
Yeah, this is not the way. This is not the way. And
everyone keeps double crossing this guy. He's like, I say yes, and then I do the thing that I say, you know.
Yeah,
like, why?
That's the way. That is the way.
You guys,
this is not the way. What you're doing.
But she's like, yeah, it's the same thing as I said before, evil, temptations. And he's like, I hope you take back the town, you know.
You gave me your word.
Yeah, you gave me your word.
She's like, there is another way.
She's like, fine.
There's another way.
You can get another Jedi if you go on a different
You get
quest.
someone else to do it. I ain't responsible for this. All right.
I know.
She wants him to be shut off from the Force. She like doesn't want to chance it.
Yeah.
Knowing his attachment, knowing what he's been through so far.
Yeah. And her history with Anakin. Darth
so
Vader.
yeah, I mean, she saw how good Anakin was in the Clone Wars. And Anakin was like the best. He had like the purest heart at the time. And like he would do anything for his people, and all of a sudden
it
now
seemed like his motivations were right, even though he was attached. You know, he would do things for his men. He cared about, you know, the people. He cared about the Jedi. Yeah. So she's like, hey, this kid's already like 2 steps ahead of where Anakin was, you know. And she's like, all right, so you have to go somewhere else. And like, Mando's got to be like, what
oh
the
my
heck?
God!
Like everyone keeps telling me to go somewhere else.
He just throws Baby Yoda
I go
up
to
in the
Tatooine.
Air. That's it. I'm going back to the guild. I'm done. No, but
she's like, Tython. Go to Tython.
Tython. So Tython is like the first Jedi temple, right?
Yeah. Again, if you know from the games, especially
the first Jedi temple,
the Old Republic, that game, you start out on Tython if you're a Jedi, and it's where they sort of started out.
Yeah, the ancient with the Jedi, Jedi or something, and you can look up the legends and everything. It goes way back. But
and in that game too, which is Legends, it's they're not considering it canon, even though Filoni seems and Favreau seem to like keep remaking things kind of canon though through Rebels, and
I think they just know how much Star Wars fans like that stuff, and they want to make it legitimate somehow.
Yeah, so they're kind of recanoning everything. So I can say that we'll probably see in Tython that is probably the case. Is that's probably where the Jedi sort of started out, and and again in the game too, after the Coruscant was attacked during that sort of period of time, the Jedi went back to Tython to sort of relearn their ways. So there's a lot of Force there, and I'm really interested in
seeing it.
That.
Just thinking of going to a Jedi temple again is so exciting. Like I liked in Rebels how all the different Jedi temple. I loved in Jedi Fallen Order you have to find a Jedi temple. So I'm very excited for this because weird things happen at Jedi temples.
Mm-hmm.
Weird things happen.
And she says, you need to go to the temple, and you need to go to like this sacred spot or whatever she called it, and he'll basically send out, amplify his force there, for like using like radio terms, I guess. And then, Jedi will be able to tune in and listen to that frequency essentially with the force.
Like Luke, like,
and they'll be able to come. And if you get someone, that's the guy who can train them. Maybe. So if someone shows up when you go to another place instead of just using me,
that'll be him.
Then
that's it. That's the last step.
Then the deal will be fulfilled.
That will be it. You get to the next Jedi, they're like, So if you go to this planet over here,
you've been to Coruscant, right? You know where
Coruscant yet? Oh, you should try that then. Have you tried finding Ahsoka Tano? Oh, she said to come to me?
She's wrong. No, you need to go find Ahsoka Tano again.
Try going back to her. Try this promo code and no, but yeah, so I'm really pumped for this adventure. I think, is this going to be like a season finale kind of thing? I don't know. We'll see.
I know we've got three more.
Left.
That's right, 3 more. And
like
something I was telling you though too is Jedi aren't the only people with Sith or with force powers. With force powers. So a Sith, technically the Sith are all dead, but we know Snoke, even though he's a clone.
All right, let's get some theories in here. Who could it be? Who are the options? Luke Skywalker has kind of been the most popular option. Is it going to be Luke? Is Jon Favreau going to try to redeem some of the suckiness that we got from Luke in episode 8 and try to make him cool again?
I hope so.
I hope so. J.J. Abrams made him cool again in 9, by the way, but 8 was a travesty as far as Luke is concerned.
And 9 was really just cleanup. We talk about it in our
watch the other episode. We'll talk about this all night. But Luke, could it be Ezra?
Could be Ezra.
Could be.
Could be Cal Kestis, maybe, from Fallen Order.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Could be.
If we don't know if he dies or not, it's
well, there's gonna probably not, maybe, because there's gonna be a second Fallen Order, so maybe they don't want to do it. I don't know.
Maybe
Again, they don't want to mess with that.
That's the character in the game looks exactly like the actor who portrays him, so that could.
That's a good point. That would be an easy live action. I'd be down for that because Cal Kestis is awesome.
Yeah, he's cool.
Okay, so any other
Ahsoka
Jedi?
could get confused again.
Yeah,
maybe like
Ahsoka could be like, "Hello,
and who's this?
Oh, you found the spot. Great. You try another number, but great."
But it could also be dark. It could be Snoke. If he exists, I don't know.
Sidious.
Could be Sidious. I hope not. I'm thinking it could even be. It could be a new original sort of Inquisitor kind of Sith or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking that Moff Gideon could even possibly, because he was studying the Force. He's trying to get these the blood from Baby Yoda.
Maybe he has
Grogu.
A way. Maybe there's a way he could.
He's got a dark saber. Maybe he is gonna get some Force powers. You know what I mean? And then he'll be able to. I don't know. Like that's probably a bigger leap, but I don't know. I can see that happening. The way that he's sort of taking over this army.
Totally.
Maybe Thrawn. Maybe Thrawn somehow, because he got sucked by the tentacle things and he's still alive. Maybe he has the Force somehow. So I don't know. I'm thinking though, this could either go really good, or it could seem like it's going to go really good, and then go really bad, or it's going to go really bad, or because I don't see it going very, very well,
super smoothly. I do want him to see a Jedi. I don't know. It's going to be cool. I can't wait to see what it looks like and how they're going to do the graphics for it. Like, how is this transmission going to look? Like, Is it going to be sort of like the connections that we saw with Rey and Kylo, where they just show the person the other place and
That
see
was
each other?
one good part of that movie.
Yeah, but again, that was the
fun.
dyad effect. That was the dyad effect that they had. I don't know. I'm really cool to see this Force connection that's about to happen. I'm excited to see what the Jedi Temple looks like. I hope there's some weird hallucinogenic things that happen.
Some Force stuff, yeah.
Hope you have to eat the mushrooms before you go in, and and I'm excited. Are you excited for this?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think there's gonna be a lot of cool crap that happens there. I don't think it's gonna work out well. You know, we've got Moff Gideon, his evil army going. We've got possibly Thrawn. We got Boba Fett still out there, and we've only got 3 episodes. And we know probably the last 2 will probably be. I don't know. I mean, no one's said this, but I'm thinking it'll probably be like how the first season was, where
where
it's
those
really,
really
just one long, big thing that's happening.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if the next episode we got like another fun adventure, not as critical to the plot, just a fun one, and then maybe the last 2 are like the Temple and Moff Gideon and his army.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so freaking pumped.
Same. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I loved it. I can't think of anything I hate. Probably the only thing was you have to be a diehard Star Wars fan like me to really appreciate everything. I think you could still got a lot out of it.
Yeah.
But like I think that first episode, if you just had a rough idea who Boba Fett is, maybe you still didn't even need to know who Boba Fett is to understand who Cobb Vanth was in that story.
I would say like this one, if I didn't think about this before, you make a good point. If you're not a big Star Wars fan and you haven't seen any other movies before this one, like you might be really confused about like who is this weird lady?
If you haven't seen the movies, but even if you've seen the movies and you haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels, like you're still like you're gonna be like, huh? What?
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
but
Googling
for us,
stuff. Yeah. But for us, it was sweet.
It's like sweet. It really, like, for the Legends fans, for everything. I think this, for the true Star Wars fans, this was an epic episode, man. And thank God we don't have the separation of Grogu and.
At least we don't have to deal with that. At least we don't have to.
Because I wasn't ready for that.
I was thinking that was possibly going to happen. I was like, I could see them getting back together somehow.
Yeah, but
I was kind of like, this is going to be maybe the next episode will be like a sad or like a dark, thing where Mando has to go find him or Sith things are happening or he's captured something. But it's at least for now, the fam's back together here. I also thought maybe Ahsoka was going to go with him. I was
hoping that. I was like,
that would be cool if she just goes with him and trains him.
Because when she said there's another way, I was like, go with them.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody happy. I make everyone happy.
But she was like, no, I have to do my own series now. Like, now you all see how cool I look. Yep. My show.
My show now. I'm going to put yours to shame, Mando. I'm surprised she didn't try to get or try to get Grogu on her show. That'd be a easy way to like sell merch and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, she's just like trying to recruit him the whole time. Yeah, I'll take him. I'll train him on my show.
So you have a sign-on bonus with us. And the thing is, you're going to get 40% of
she just whatever. Whips out a contract. Floats him a pen. That's hilarious. But yeah, so great episode. Anything else, Steve?
No. I enjoyed it. Let us know what you guys thought, though, too. Comment.
Us in the comments.
On the video, or if you're listening on podcasts, send it to us or find us on social media. And then let us know, too, what you thought about the episode. And two, stay tuned for our talk on next week's episode. We're going to be talking about that. And if you haven't checked out our ones before, make sure you go and do that. We've also got Last Kingdom stuff on our channel. We're big fans of Last Kingdom. If you haven't seen that show, I recommend you watch it. If you like the Mandalorian and the whole culture behind that, I would check out the Viking culture, which inspired Mandalorian culture. I'd go check out The Last Kingdom.
Totally. Go check it out and thank us later.
And listen to our talks on it.
I mean,
because they're great.
No, but please, if you like what you're hearing, please consider subscribing to us. Follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. And otherwise, thank you for listening to the Screen Chronicles. This is the way. And may the Force be with you.